Okay, picking up where we left off. Think I said, okay, so this is a ceiling we want to populate with lights. Lights that somehow we know. Let's go. I'm going to rename this view to level 2 ceiling arena. Okay, and then enter. And then when it says, would you like to name corresponding level? No, because I just want to be able to distinguish the ceiling plan from the level 2 drawing. I have some other files open here. So here's the ceiling plan. Okay, let's go to the view range and make sure we did this correctly. Top. Okay, we can't see the ceiling. I think I did undid it, but the cut plane is going to have to be somewhere below the current ceiling. That would be all right. Top. Let's see. Set top unlimited and view depth unlimited. Um, can't see the ceiling yet. Let's cut plane view range. Let's set the cut plane at 10 feet. 11. There. Now I can see the ceiling. But the cut plane is above the ceiling, so I'm going to set it at 10. Okay, and now I'm going to try to drag a light, this downlight spot, into the ceiling. Okay, so we're able to do that. I'm going to actually select a different, just a reminder of what I've done here. I set the view range because we had an unusual to unlimited top because that we had to put the ceiling above level 2. Okay, and then the cut plane, which is going to be slightly below the ceiling, is at 10 feet. Leave that up for a second. I'll make this model available as well. Okay. Um, let's insert. I think I did this already, but let's load Autodesk Family. Downlight recessed can. That's a very simple lamp. The 8-inch, 120 volts. Okay, and I'm just going to place them. Do a regular array. That sort of landed somewhere else. So the reason we lose it here is that the ceiling isn't there. Okay, so that should be plenty of light, right? Let's move these up a little bit. You can align them. But we have a set of lights in there. Now I'm going to go to the level 2 floor plan, right? And create a 3D view. View 3D, select the camera. I'm going to anchor it somewhere in the corner here, drag in the direction that we want to look beyond, right? And then click. When you zoom out, enlarge this view a bit, you can see what we created there, right? Don't be careful with this display because we're going to render this. First of all, let's turn on shadows and set some natural light. So sun settings, we're going to set still. Let's start with the summer solstice and see what that does for us. Okay, maybe the time of day is not quite right. I want to get some light into this room. Sun settings, 10 a.m. Okay, so morning, 9 a.m., we got some light, a source of natural light. Okay, so now I can quickly, I don't know what you're using to render. But I'm going to click on the show rendering dialog here and choose draft and use interior sun and artificial. So that's going to render both the sunlight and what I think I have for interior light. And always start with draft, start with the lowest quality. Hit render. So you work with the lowest common denominator, and then you work your way up to those crazy fixtures that you found online and you're trying to get to work. But I suspect they weren't working because you didn't have a ceiling. Don't spend more than 10 minutes rendering, as it takes that long, something's terribly amiss. Okay, so that's giving us natural light and whatever's going on outside. You can adjust the exposure, right? The exposure, make it a little darker because it's pretty hot in there. You can see what the effect of your, right? We can change the time of day. Let's save this view, 3D Sombra 1. So when you save those, it piles them up in the renderings here. Oh, I see. You have some other renderings. Let's try to change the time of day to 9 p.m. Why am I getting sunlight at 9 p.m.? Rather strange. Let's see what happens. Let's render this. Sun and artificial. Let's render. I suspect it's taking a little longer because you got other lights in there and we didn't group them. So It's really trying to render everything, even though you don't see it. You don't see the other lights in this view. Then we'll switch to your other views and see how they look. But I just wanted to be able to control the 3D um, camera so I knew exactly what to expect. Okay, so that is the effect essentially of with just the lights. Now the exposure, right? We can adjust, we can brighten them, so you can see a little bit more what the artificial light is doing. Okay, that's going to brighten everything, so naturally you start to see clouds outside and that sort of thing. So let's save this and call it 3D Sono Revit Render Native. Let's go back to one of. Now let's see. That's your office library. Those are your views that you couldn't quite get. So let's see if I can find that 3D view. Office library. Is that it? Yeah. Okay. Now that's with my lights. Again, if you're using, all right, let's leave lighting as is for now, and go ahead and render this with the settings there. Sun and artificial. Okay. Let's see what we get. Okay, so here's what we got. Let's put this rendering progress window in there. And oops. Okay, so you can do the same. You had medium here. Okay, you can do the same thing. Adjust the exposure, make it brighter. That's a little too hot. Exposure, make it more cooler light if you want that to be not so yellowish. Okay, Now, lastly, let's try to bring your light back. Let's save this. Oh, I should have saved the rendering. Medium, by the way, anything beyond medium for Revit takes too long and doesn't improve it dramatically. Let's go back to the reflected ceiling. Let's find the crazy chandelier or whatever that was. I think it was this thing. Play some face. Let's go back to the view. Is that right? Okay. And let's see what happens with that. You always want to check these things, by the way. If they have, you select a fixture, go to edit type, there's always some parameter that sets the intensity of that light, but let's accept the defaults and run it. Render, sun and artificial medium, that'll be fine. What do we got? Yeah, okay. Looks like that light is working. You can group lights in Revit. Let's save this to project. We'll call it Office Library. Okay. Alina plus Sandro lights. Cans. Okay, and I'll post this model for you, and good luck.